Welcome to Chasing Limits on Shaw TV. We're here at WinSports Canada Olympic Park for the Freestyle NORAM Halfpipe Skiing Competition. My name is Paul Stutz. Joining me is Kevin Kwasny.
Awesome to be here on this great night at COP here in Calgary. Great looking pipe for these guys to ride today.
So competing under the lights, I mean, it's an amazing experience, but we see some of the best competitions in the world all having the same atmosphere. There's no issues with lighting. We know that everyone's going to have perfect visibility, and conditions do look great.
Yeah, we got a little bit of wind, but these lights light up the pipe all the way from, you can see it from the highway.
And this pipe, I mean, we know that WinSport has taken out all the stops to provide a world-class facility. This is one of the best half pipes in the world.
Yeah, all 22 feet of it is cut laser leveled all the way from top to bottom.
Keep that in mind too. 22 feet in height of this half pipe, and you're going to be seeing these athletes going well over and above that, and really give you an idea of the amplitude that they're bringing.
Yeah, they can go upwards of 15 feet and then come all the way back down to that bottom of the pipe.
That's amazing. You can see them doing last-minute preparation, getting ready for our first athlete ready to drop in.
Yeah, we have some great volunteers slipping the pipe, keeping everything A-OK for all of these riders on this start list.
We have a first look at our top 12 competitors. These guys have worked their way up the standings through the competition, and we're going to see the top 3 runs from this top 12, and it's your best run that's the one that counts. So that top score is what they're looking for.
Starting off is Braden Tritter with back-to-back flares. Big straight air and coming into his next hit. Great alley-oop flat spin.
Unbelievable amount of height. You can see this level of difficulty is world class. I think this event really showcases not just our local favorites, but some of the best halfpipe skiers from around the world.
Yeah, Braden Tritter is one of our Alberta athletes. He skis for the Alberta slopestyle team, making his appearance known here in the halfpipe.
Interesting to see him not using ski poles. That's I guess one of those options that some athletes have a choice to, and he's going without.
In new school skiing, it's all about style, and some of these kids, their no pole style really helps them get through.
Whatever works, I guess, but it's also what the judges are going to be looking for. We know in a judge sport, they're ranking these competitors out of 100, and it's not individual tricks or anything. It's overall impression is what they're looking for.
The judges are going to watch from top to bottom. Every trick needs to flow from landing to the next trick. You need to be initiating that trick as soon as you land and getting ready for that next wall.
And it's amazing. You can see a 47.2 for Braden Tritter. I think he'll be happy with that. But you know what? We have a lot of competition to go. It's only our first man down the mountain today.
Next up, we have Sam McCowan, another Alberta team member, coached by Chris Ebern, standing there beside him, giving him a few words and getting him ready to head down that pipe.
So these two athletes, they compete together, they train together, they're going to know each other's tricks, but you know, it's an individual sport, and come competition night, they're going to be duking it out against each other, even though they are teammates.
Oh, it's go time for sure. As soon as those lights are on, these kids are ready. They may be skiing against their best friend, but they still want to win.
It's all a family, all friends here until it comes to that point where you're dropping in, and then it's all just competition at that point.
So he went from down the pipe 5 to a straight air to set up for that big 900 and right into a 720.
Amazing. 720, 900. You're referencing degrees of rotation here. So we're seeing amazing amounts of talent and huge spins.
Yeah, and you can see that when you're not lined up properly or pushing too hard off that wall, it can lead to a big fall like it did for Sam right there.
And you know what? That's part of the game, but he's got 2 runs to go. He lost a pole there, but you know what? He's just going to be using that this run as an experience, another run down the pipe, another opportunity to keep building on that, but he's going to have to bring it for the next round.
That's the great part about the new school type judging is we give these kids 3 runs to make it down there and show us their best stuff. A lot of these guys will start off with a kind of a safety run to just get a score, and then we'll see them really push the limits.
Makes sense for them to stay within their comfort zone on that first run, know they can have a solid one in the bank, and then maybe bring out some of those more difficult tricks and some of the bigger airs coming up in the next 2 runs.
And a 21.2, so he'll be definitely looking to his next 2 runs to push it.
That definitely cost him a couple of points with the judges there. You're mentioning this whole event is judged out of 100, all with the Association of Free Skiing Professionals scoring system. So it's pretty much overall impression, which is interesting because these runs, I think the winners, we're going to see pretty flawless runs top to bottom.
Oh yeah, it needs to go from top to bottom, linked perfectly. And here comes Evan Marino, another Alberta skier skiing out of the Winsport team. This is his home halfpipe.
So he grew up skiing in Fernie, and I'm sure has a lot of big mountain experience with what that ski resort has to offer. But you know what? He's at home in the park in the pipe here at COP right now, and that experience is paying off with a great run going.
Really put down some nice tricks there. You could see that he spun on both walls, as well as landing switch coming through the bottom of that pipe.
On landing switch, I mean, skiing backwards, it's a very new school thing in the sport. But you know, these free skiers have really taken the sport to the next level. And I mean, landing switch, taking off switch is very common, but almost one of those things that the judges need to see, that you have that in your bag of tricks.
The judges reward difficulty with both-way spinning, switch spinning, and really, really look for those big grabs. You could see on his flare that he was reaching for that grab. If he can lock that grab in, he'll get a much higher score.
So many different factors. Not just the grabs, not just the spins, the flips, but the height. I mean, the amount of air they're getting, the speed, and as you said, it's style, right?
You got to woo those judges. There are 5 great judges sitting in the booth right now, all with great experience watching great athletes.
The beauty that we have is having the opportunity to see it live and up close, but the judges are only looking from the bottom. So 78.8, not a bad score, our current leader.
Strong score for our Fernie local. Next up is Thomas Nelner, another Winsport Academy skier skiing out of this halfpipe.
Excellent to see, getting ready to drop in. You know, he's going to be using that Winsport experience. These hometown boys are stepping it up, as we're going to see that experience in this pipe pay off.
Great grab on his down the pipe 5 there. Spinning on the other wall, down the pipe again. Sends a 9 on the left wall to a big 720.
With the switch landing.
Oh, caught his edge in that transition right there. Lost a lot of speed. Made up for it. Oh, wow. Pushed himself right off the wall, right into the deck.
A lot of these athletes are going to factor in momentum. You need to keep building that speed and pumping the bottom of that half pipe and making as much speed, because you just saw him, you know, caught his edge there a little bit, and that really held him back because he didn't have the speed, didn't have the momentum to get his next couple tricks in, and you know what, that cost him the bottom half of his run, and I'm sure that will shake down with the judges and affect his score for sure.
Yeah, a lot of freestyle skiers think that you don't really need to know your edges and your bases that well, but when you're coming through a 22-foot halfpipe, you basically have your skis tuned like a racer.
Equipment is so important. I mean, as in all winter sports, but especially the skiing events. You know what? Even though they're not timed, there's no clock on them, but it's so important to have precision-tuned equipment, the right wax, the right edges, and not just that, the right ski setup for you as an individual.
Here we got Ryan Malone, another Winsport Academy skier, coached by Jeremy Cooper, the halfpipe coach. So Ryan Malone's home hill is actually Blue Mountain, so he trains out of Winsport, but is raised in Ontario. Dropping it on the opposite wall as well than most.
So Ryan's 19 years old. We're seeing all ages. I mean, some of the athletes here are even younger than that, but all of these competitors are going to have bright futures. I think with the inclusion of halfpipe into a legitimate World Cup circuit now and the Olympics, it's the real thing now, and it requires all those steps of professional athletes and all the preparation that goes along with it.
Ryan had a great run going down there. He had back-to-back 9s and a 1080 in it, but just unfortunately on his last hit just could not get enough height to finish it off.
So we're going to see obviously some good scores from those huge spins at the start, but missing that last hit's going to cost him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, with that overall impression, that will really drop him down. It's basically a write-off on that run when you fall, even if it's just at the bottom.
Couldn't quite build that momentum to keep rolling into that last hit, but you know what? Still got a smile on his face. He's nodding. He's happy, and he knows he has some more in the tank for his next 2 runs.
The crowd cheering him on. He's seeing his friends from Winsport.
I think that's one of the coolest things about competing at night here too. I mean, it's a spectator sport. It's amazing to see these competitors launching that far under the lights in the evening too. I mean, it becomes almost a party as opposed to just a sporting event.
You saw he finished with a 51, so hopefully he can step it up and finish with that big flare at the bottom for his next run. Next we have Yu Tonea from Japan.
Yu Tonea, I think it's Yu Yonea actually with a Y. It's difficult to say, but you know what? These Japanese athletes have really stepped up the ante in the freestyle world. We've seen tremendous performances, men and women from the Japanese, and you know what? Some of the best snow and some of the best skiing in the world. So no strangers to competition levels like this on the NORAM circuit.
Dropping in on the same wall as Ryan Malone just did. Let's see what he's got for us. Down the pipe, 540. Back to the other wall to a 900. All right, big 720 at the bottom to a flare. And finishes with his right side 540.
Great run for you, Japanese competitor here in Calgary. Yu's actually, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's a long flight to come ski this great halfpipe, but people are doing it from all over the world just to try this halfpipe.
Oh, we've seen, obviously built by the same halfpipe builder as the X Games. That just shows the caliber of what Winsport's done with this. And you know, at competition levels like this, I mean, this is as world class as it gets. And yeah, we do have athletes from all over the world traveling here to train and compete on this halfpipe.
You can see you getting a little low on those landings. He's going to want to improve on that second run for sure.
That's one of the tricky spots too. When you're that high up in the air, you have to be spotting that landing. Too high, you're going to get hung up on the top and not have a fun end to your day. Usually we've seen some big crashes with people getting hung up there, but you know what, landing too low can be just as bad. You land in the flat bottom of that half pipe from 20-30 feet up, it's not going to feel good too, but even if you do manage to stick it, you're going to lose all your momentum and cost you on the next trick.
Each wall is so important for fluidity. You go from one wall to the next, and as soon as you're landing, you're putting it on an edge.
70.2 for Yanea. That's good to see, but I think he has a little bit more that he's looking for too, so I'm sure we're going to see a lot more in his second and third runs.
Our next competitor is Mitchell Wilson out of British Columbia.
This Whistler native, member of the BC ski team, 18 years old. Whistler obviously has some amazing snow sports facilities there. You know, the half pipe they have is world class again, but you know what? Is that going to be enough to compete with the hometown boys here who train and compete at Winsport constantly, right?
He's got those bright yellow skis. Maybe those will help show off to the judges. Big grab on his starting out flare to big flat 5 with a mute grab. Huge mute grab. That's what the judges are looking for. Great down the pipe 9 with a tail grab. Nice 360. Finishes with the right side 5.
I think that's a great run from Mitchell there. You know, we should see some happiness from him as soon as that score comes up on the board. We want to see, obviously, higher than 78 to take over the current leading spot. But as we said, it's a 3-run competition. So you know what? This may just be a safety run for some of these guys in their first trip down the pipe.
That high mute grab is exactly what judges want to see on all their tricks, holding the grab from start to finish. You can see he's keeping his amplitude for every hit as well. Nice little lead-in mute or safety grab, sorry. Getting ready for his next trick.
And landing switch there, obviously giving the judges his whole bag of tricks to show what he's capable of.
Yeah, he had inverts and spinning on both walls and massive grabs. I'm liking the way his run just went.
84.2, our new current leader. I think he's going to be very happy with that. But, you know, he'll have some work cut out from him. We still got a number of great athletes to come down the mountain.
And this is reverse order from qualification. We still have our highest ranked skiers still to come.
So reverse order. So world ranking, how does that... How do they rank these athletes against their competitors?
Well, earlier these competitors competed, and that set up our rankings. So how they finished yesterday is where they're skiing today.
Okay, so yesterday's results obviously factored in. So it's a season-long process. Obviously has to qualify, and that's going to build your seed order. And you know what? I would say it's always the best to have the opportunity to come down the pipe last. You know, to be able to see what everyone else has done, to know if you can take it easy after a few guys have crashed, or if you need to really bring out the big guns for your run.
And Ryan Murphy brought out the big guns. Unfortunately, he landed a little high on that wall, caught the edge of the deck, and it sent him right down.
That's too bad. He had a great run going there, but yeah, got a little hung up on the top, and that'll cost him for that run for sure.
Nice little slide at the bottom to show he's still having fun.
I think that's important too. In a judge sport, you have to always be about style, always be about some flair to it, and have some fun with the judges, because they're looking for that. At the end of the day, it's a show for these judges.
The judges want to see you finish as happy as you started. Big tail grab on that down the pipe 9. These are big air, big amplitude. Just unfortunately, you see his ski landed on the other side of the wall.
You know, when you're spinning and flipping that many times, you always gotta kind of keep an eye on the top of that pipe so you know where to land. And you know what? Sometimes you get a little hung up. He was that high in the air and just missed that landing by a little bit. And you know what? That's going to cost him. But 2 runs to go, as we said.
Talking to his cheering section. Oh, getting the high fives after his crash, getting him ready for his next run.
Great to see the fans all out there supporting not just their friends, but all the international field as well. It's an amazing sporting event to see for anyone in Calgary to take advantage of this world-class level of competition right in our backyard at COP.
Yeah, that was a great shot of how big and how straight the lines are of this pipe. 22 feet from top to bottom, immaculately cut. It's just so much fun to get out there and ride.
A score of 26 for Ryan Murphy there, so he's going to have to bring a little bit more for his next round. Hunter Hess in the start, getting ready to drop in. This American's out of Mount Bachelor.
He most recently came in 4th in the Aspen Open Pipe Contest, so he's looking to improve and maybe get on that podium in this event.
He's definitely had a list of injuries that I know he's been battling over the years, but you know what? That's part of the game. When you're pushing your limits, chasing your limits to the top, you know, you have to be constantly pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and injuries are going to be part of that. So hopefully he's in one piece and healthy here, and you know, it looks like he's got a great run going so far. Land and switch off that 7.
Great amplitude from top to bottom. He opened up with a huge tail grab on his down the pipe 5. Big flat spin 900 right there. Wow. It's a very solid way to end his run.
So down the pipe, up the pipe, you're going to be able to see which direction they're spinning, whether they're kind of rotating in the direction of down the hill. It's kind of self-explanatory, but just shows that other extra level of difficulty for the judges.
Most people are natural spinners in only one direction, so their first hit is usually their natural direction, and then to spin down the hill the other way, that's showing that he can get going on both directions, as well as great grabs for Hunter Hess right there.
I mean, spinning in two different directions is so unnatural. I mean, it's difficult to spin in even one direction that many times, but these guys are so well trained that they're able to change that up and show the level of difficulty for the judges that they can spin the other way.
It's like riding with your opposite hand. It takes training, and it's never comfortable.
Not easy, but again, just shows the level of competition. 88.8 for Hunter Hess. I think he will be very happy with that result, and that's a great position to be in after round one.
Yeah, it's always great to put down an 88 before your second run.
He knows he has that in the bank, and he can maybe even take some more risks next round.
Next up, we have Taylor Wilson from the Canadian national team, coached by Mark Shimko, who's an former Alberta athlete.
Excellent to see. He's 19 years old, so still young, still has a future, and definitely will have some Olympic dreams, some World Cup dreams ahead of him. And you know what? If he's going to keep performing how he has been, and if he can keep that up tonight, I don't think that's going to be a challenge for him. He's got a nice future ahead of him.
Great flare tail grab for his second hit. Back-to-back flares showing that he can flip on both walls. Down the pipe, 720 into a switch. Another switch, 720. Nice.
So up in the difficulty with some of those tricks. I think he lost a little bit of speed off that one landing, so maybe didn't have the height that he was looking for on that last hit. But you know what? I think still a solid run for Taylor Wilson.
Yeah, these Canadian boys are in their home turf, so they're going to be pushing it and showing everybody what they came out with.
And yeah, international field, it's a NORAM. So we have definitely a number of Canadians in this competition, but not just the Americans. I mean, we've seen Japanese. It truly is an international level of competition, kind of the step down from World Cup, that feeder league, that farm team league, as you would kind of relate it to, where these athletes are going to be taking all this experience, taking this level of competition, working on their world rankings, and working their way up the ladder to achieve what they want in the sport.
It's all about that Olympic dream and X Games dream for all of these guys. Everybody wants to ski for the rest of their life, and the dream's to get paid to do it, and this is how you do it. You win these competitions and move up the rankings.
I'm glad you mentioned the X Games. Obviously, that used to be the pinnacle of a sport like this, where that was the biggest competition of the year. And, you know, now we're throwing in a solid World Cup circuit and the Olympics. So it just shows how much the sport has progressed. 79.8 for Wilson. I think he's got a little bit more. Maybe that last hit just cost him a little bit. Back to the start.
All right, we have Cameron Broderick out of the United States. He, U.S. rookie halfpipe team member. He's getting hyped up at the top, dancing to some of that music that our great DJ is playing for us tonight.
Making sure it's a party and everyone's having fun out there. So this 18-year-old's from Mammoth Mountain. His top result, he was first in the USASA Nationals last year, 2015. So obviously has some experience winning, and I'm sure has no other plan in his mind other than doing the same here tonight. But is it going to be enough with some tough competition here?
He put his switch hit much earlier into his run. That shows a lot of confidence in his skiing. It's hard to get that switch right out there. That was a massive grab on that last hit.
Landing switch, you know, that's so difficult, but the equipment's progressed so much that the twin tips really give these guys that opportunity to do exactly what they want. They're versatile and flexible to not just build the speed and keep that momentum up, but be landing any which way they want, or any which way the judges want, for that matter.
A lot of these tricks were unheard of not too long ago. Skiing through a half-pipe switch, that wouldn't be done until the last probably 10 years. It's pretty cool to see how far we've come. And great amplitude on these replay hits right here.
Absolutely huge. We're fortunate enough to be able to see the replays, and the judges only get one shot at it. They have to formulate their score real time off of just watching that run from the bottom of the hill. So it's not an easy job. I don't envy that job, to be able to pick out exactly what each competitor's doing and all those little details and make sure they're getting an accurate score. So it's why they're so well trained, and be looking forward to see what Cameron's score is here.
Coaches can't throw a challenge flag like in a lot of other team sports. This is, once the judges see it, that's their score.
No ifs, ands, or buts. It's what you get, and that's what makes the sport so exciting. 87.2, really solid score. Not quite enough to take the lead, but that's excellent. Back to the start for Nico Porteous.
He was our leader after qualifiers, so he's dropping last in this first run. All the way from New Zealand.
Yeah, this athlete's from down under. It's great to see. And we have to point this out. He is only 14 years old, so the youngest athlete in this competition. But you know what? Our current leader after qualification. So we want to talk about bright futures. Look at this young halfpipe skier and what he's capable of. Amazing to see.
Starts off switch, lands switch after his first hit. That shows great control and confidence in this massive halfpipe. He's 14 years old. He doesn't even have the years of experience that these guys that have dropped before him got.
It does not show. I mean, look at these huge spins and flips. He is bringing that kind of next level to this sport. And, you know, at that age, I have no doubts this New Zealander is going to have a pretty amazing future. Nico Porteous is a name to watch.
Bringing his ski up just like all those pros, showing off his sponsors.
I think that's awesome. You know, it's so young, but you know what? That just shows you he's a kid out skiing. He's having fun. And I don't even know if he knows how serious this level of competition can get. He's just out for a ski and having fun with his friends. But you know what? That style is exactly what the judges are looking for. And, you know, look at that height.
Yeah, alley-oop, flat spin with a solid Japan grab. That's how you want to end off, because that last hit is the last thing the judges see. Waiting on his score.
It's gonna be a tight one, obviously. After leading qualifications, he's gonna be wanting to take that lead into the next round, and by a long shot. 94, pretty amazing to see. That smile is for a reason. Great to see round one action completed. 2 runs to go, but we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for the second run of the NORAM halfpipe competition.
Canadream has a wide selection of RVs that are available for purchase. New and used Class B and B Plus van conversions, Class C motorhomes, and truck campers that are ready to accommodate many lifestyles. Visit our website for more information at canadream.com/sales.
I'm not special. Cancer happens to people all the time. I take 1 mile at a time, 26 miles a day. I want to set an example that'll never be forgotten. Sometimes, it feels endless. But the pain I feel is nothing. I've seen little kids in so much pain. Somewhere, the hurting must stop.
Terry Fox ran more than halfway across Canada to raise money for cancer research. Every year, millions of people around the world continue the marathon of hope in his name.
YCOM Solutions, a proud supporter of the Chasing Limits series and Alberta amateur sports. Visit ycom.ca for details on their full list of communication products and services.
For Sir George Etienne Cartier, the work of uniting Canada was as vast as the country itself. First, he won over Quebec.
Union is the only way forward.
No, Monsieur Cartier. Confederation will cost French Canadians their nationality.
Monsieur, together we will form a political nationality independent of our origins.
Diversity will be Canada's strength.
Then he fought for Manitoba.
The Northwest has formed a government under Louis Riel. We will not join Confederation unless our rights are respected.
So you want a new province? Then you'll have it. There will be a place for your people in Canada.
He envisioned a country from Atlantic to Pacific.
British Columbia won't even think of joining Canada without a wagon road through the Rockies.
Ask for a railway. We are building a country after all.
Bold as a lion, Confederation could not have happened but for him. Du Canada, son pays, ses amours.
Welcome back to Chasing Limits. Again, we're here at Winsports COP for the Freestyle NORAM Halfpipe Skiing Competition. We've just completed our first round. Our top 12 men have had their first run down the pipe, and it's a 3-run event. Best run counts. So Braden Tritter back at the start for the start of round 2.
He scored a 47.2 in his first run. Definitely going to want to be wanting to improve on that for sure.
Yeah, I think that little mistake in the bottom definitely cost him. So he doesn't have that great run in the bank, you know, so he's going to have to be bringing out all the stops for his second run.
And again, dropping in with no poles, starting off with that big flare mute grab.
No poles is, I mean, a style that is definitely new in this sport, and some people are debating whether it should even be allowed or if it actually does look better if they're doing it for style. We're not sure.
Yeah, every kid has their own style. Ooh, kind of loses a shoe coming through the transition there.
Not the run, not the day he's been looking for. He's going to have to go clean up his equipment there. So 2 runs with some mistakes, but you know what? It's only 1 run that counts. So he might have something left in the tank for his 3rd run.
Yeah, having fun as he climbs up there to grab that ski, and that's what you like to see after a fall. You want to make sure all these athletes are A-okay.
As long as everyone's staying healthy. I know that injuries are a huge part of this game when you're pushing yourself so much every day to come out with those bigger and better tricks. I mean, inventing tricks. It's not always going to be a painless sport. There's going to be some trials and tribulations to it for sure.
Yeah, these kids train year-round to get these kind of tricks. We start on trampolines, learning how to do them properly, move on to water ramps and airbag facilities all over Alberta just to bring it to snow.
So, I mean, safety is going to be a main factor that we're going to use, but you know what? It is what it is to be able to really push yourself. We're going to take all the precautions possible to make sure this environment's as safe as possible. You can see everyone is in certified helmets there, which is really important. But you know what? It's an outdoor winter sport with airs, sometimes 30 feet in the air. So you know what? We're going to take all the precautions we can, but it's going to be part of the game.
Alberta's own Sam McCowan dropping in, going even above the camera right there.
So he had a frustrating first run. 21.2 was not the score he was looking for after that first run crash. So glad to see he's bringing out some of his big tricks in his second round.
He's got that switch hit coming in. Oh, landed high again on that wall.
Can't catch a break here today. It's too bad landing high on that. But you know what? Again, he's got 1 run to go. So and has the skills. I mean, amazing tricks, but he just might not have the experience. Those mistakes are costing him.
Yeah, a lot of these Alberta boys are actually part of the Alberta slopestyle team and train halfpipe on the side to keep their tricks and keep their competitive edge.
It's another thing about style too, and you see this on the ski hills nowadays. Again, personal preference, but a lot of these freestylers are wearing their goggles on the inside of their helmet. That's personal preference. I mean, my background on the alpine side, that would never fly, but you know what? It's all about style and whatever works, right?
Yeah, that's what the cool pros are doing, so it's what these guys are emulating. And that was a big crash right there. You can see him wincing, but we'll hopefully have enough to get back up there and do his third run.
Yeah, he's going to be sore after that crash for sure, but glad to see he's uninjured and will be back in the start for round 3.
Evan had a great first run, 78.8. He's going to look to improve because our leader's at a 94 right now. But Evan, he's got some tricks in the bag.
Evan's 17 years old, so still has a long future ahead of him. But you know what? With his first run, a great score there. We're going to see some even more of that amplitude that he brought, and some of those big tricks again.
Yeah, and he's just coming back from the Youth Olympics where he was competing over in Europe. So dropping in right now. Starting off with a big 5 tail grab down the pipe. Into his flare.
Huge flare. Lots of spinning on that next one, too.
Down the pipe 9 on that right wall. To down the pipe on the left wall 9. That's a big trick for him. Into a nice little switch up 360.
You can see why he had that great score of 78.8. If he's going to bring it like that, I have no doubts he could be able to improve on that even.
Well, I've known him for a while now, and I know that back-to-back 9 is the first time he's landed that in competition. So he should be pretty pleased about that.
So how much will they change up their run from round 1 to 2 to 3, or is it just going to all be on the fly?
Well, they have a preset plan in their head, and you don't really want to stray from that once you've dropped in. But if you're feeling your run and you feel like you can go that extra 180 or 360, you might just throw that because you're feeling great.
So would you technically have a plan for your competition this evening and have 3 chances at that same run, or would they be changing up round 1 to 2 and 3?
At this level, you would have your safe run, and then you're going for it all. You're chasing your limit run, and that right there is pushing for one of his limits.
That's excellent to see. But 78.8, his score from round 1 is still his best. Tom Nelner at the start, getting ready to drop in. Another Calgary local skiing for Winsport.
Dropping in on the left wall, majority wall that everybody else is dropping in on.
Had some mistakes in his first run. Came out of that one with only a 21.0. So if he can stay on his feet and keep bringing in big tricks like that 900 right there, we're going to be able to see him get the score he's looking for.
And into his 720, into his switch hit. That gave him a little bit of trouble last run. Still not quite getting the amplitude, but at least he's staying on his feet this run.
Yeah, couldn't quite bring the speed at the bottom to make those last two airs as big as I think he wanted. But you know what? Definite improvement off his round 1.
You really have to ride those edges. That's something that you racers really know how, and we kind of stole for the half pipe.
Well, it's an amazing evolution to the sport, right? Half pipes used to just be the snowboarders that we'd see in there. And you know what? Skiing's cool again. Skiing's taken over. So we're seeing amazing performance from skiers in the half pipe now. And in my opinion, doing bigger and more exciting tricks than even the snowboarders who kind of founded the world of half pipe skiing or snowboarding.
Yeah, I think we might be a little biased when it comes to skiing over snowboarding, but we definitely like to see these guys going big.
And it's true, the sport has evolved so much. It's great to see where they're at now. 63 for Tom Nelner. That's a definite improvement, but I think there's still more in the tank if he can keep the momentum up on those last few hits.
We got Ryan Malone, the Ontario skier that skis out of Winsport. His local halfpipe, this one right here.
51.4 in round 1. So I think he still has some room to improve on that after some of those mistakes in his first round. But you know what? It's not going to be difficult as he drops in on the opposite side.
Yeah, dropping in on what they call skier's right. So the direction that the skier would be coming in on. Big flat 5 up top into down the pipe. 900, landing a little low on that wall. You can see when he pushes off that wall, it sends him very deep.
That low landing is going to cost him. It didn't give him the speed to carry out those bottom 2 big hits that he was looking for. And you know what? That's just part of the game, but he's got another round to go.
Yeah, talking to his coach at the bottom there. He knows what he needs to do for his next run.
but pressure's on now, obviously, for Ryan, because he has kind of 2 scores that weren't really what he was looking for. And if he wants to be on top of that podium at the end of tonight, he's going to have to really bring it in the 3rd round.
You can see he's a strong skier, because even after that fall and losing all his speed, he gets some great amplitude just at that bottom of that pipe.
Amazing to see him recover from a crash like that, a low landing, and still get a couple really solid hits in at the bottom.
So 51.4, his first run will stand. Coming into our next skier,
we have the Japanese skier Yu Yanea. Solid first run from him. He had a 70.2 in the first round, but you know what? I think there's still more to come from him.
One of our older competitors in this. He's 26 years old. Dropping in. Oh, found a little bit of ice at the start of that run.
I know, with all the powder snow that Japan's been getting in the last few years, maybe he's not used to the ice and hard snow that we have here in Western Canada right now.
Yeah, a lot of these guys would be training during the day when it's nice and soft, but once that night comes, it becomes a very hard and icy pipe. Ooh.
Tough crash for Yanea. That's not what he had planned, but you know, glad to see he's okay, and see if he can just build up enough speed to get back and at least get 1 or 2 more hits in, and there it is.
Just playing around a little bit, feeling out the pipe, finding out where he needs to be for his next run.
But he knows that pressure's on now for him as well. 3rd round's going to be the one that matters.
At the bottom, waiting for his score. That's never a good feeling after a fall, waiting to hear what they have to say.
So with all this mild weather Calgary's been having, it's great to see a half pipe in this shape, and doing an event like this at night might even be an advantage, because as it does soften up, it gets slower and more difficult. It's nice to land on, but doesn't give them the speed they're looking for with the warm days we've been having.
Yeah, when a pipe's this hard, your edges grab a lot better. It's like flooding a race course for you ski racers.
I know we want the hardest snow possible, but here you still want the speed and the firm surface to be getting the air, but a little bit of soft landing is not going to be a bad thing too. The 70.2 for Yanea is going to stand from his first run as we expected.
Mitch Wilson, he had a great first run with an 84.2, so he's hoping that he can just really push it for this run, because he had some great grabs, and it was those yellow bases that caught my eye.
The Whistler native definitely wanting to improve. That 84.2 is a solid score. He's right in the mix, but you know what? I think with everyone with 2 runs to go, he's going to still have to step it up 1 more notch.
Opened with a flare tail grab into a flat 5 mute grab, down the pipe 9, big 360, lining up that switch hit. Switch 900 at the bottom. That was a great ending. You always want to end with a big trick. Those judges are right here staring at you.
I think that was a great run top to bottom for Wilson. He's going to be happy with that. Got a smile on his face again, but you know what? There's a few guys ahead of him right now, and he needs to step it up that 1 more notch if he wants to end up on top tonight.
That's one of my favorite tricks. Just a nice big 360. You can see how slow he has and how much control he has coming into that big switch 900.
It doesn't seem like it's as difficult when you're only spinning once around as opposed to 2 or 3 times. But you know what? It's all about the style, and when you kind of delay the spin like that, that's not just what looks good too. It just shows that extra control and degree of difficulty.
That control is huge. Showing off his skis for his sponsors. He's excited. The crowd's yelling at him. He's enjoying his time.
As he should be. With an 84.2 from his first round, that might be what he's going to have to carry with him into round 3. Let's see if he can improve upon that while we wait for the judges' score.
You can see the wind starting to pick up a little bit. It's a whole different feeling coming through the bottom of that pipe. You don't feel the wind until you're actually up in the air.
So it's got to be disorienting too, and you can see the wind coming in at a little bit of an angle. You're going to have to factor that in when you're up in the air as you're spotting your landing. Not that it's going to be pushing you, but just gives you a bit of a different sensation. So going to have that control and awareness of the weather too.
All right, I think we have a score coming up.
Looks like Mitchell Wilson will stick with his 84.2 from the round previous, so wasn't quite enough to improve upon that, but you know what, 84.2 is a solid score. I think he's going to be happy with that, and one more round to go, right? Ryan Murphy of the U.S.,
our 21-year-old American skier, getting ready to drop in at the top.
So Ryan obviously has some experience. He's got the age, he's there, so he's got some competitions under his belt. But you know what? It's a tough first run with a crash there at 26.0 for a score. He's going to need to step that up. He's got 2 runs to go, and I think he's feeling that push, feeling that pressure to really start bringing the big tricks out now.
Yeah, look at the lights. It just grabs me every time just to see how nice they light up this pipe for our athletes.
Well, that was one of the reasons snowboarder Sean White was coming to Calgary. He said the lights here just replicate the environments that they see in the Olympics or the X Games, and again, just proves that this is as world-class as it gets.
What a great pipe. Just laser cut. You can see it straight top to bottom. It's amazing.
And not an easy endeavor, too. I mean, not only do you have to make all the snow for that, it's a lot of specific equipment and a lot of specific expertise and, frankly, a lot of money to put together something of that quality and caliber.
You can see Ryan Murphy is wearing clear lenses right now. That's a huge advantage. He gets to see everything but keep the snow and the wind out of his eyes.
Competing at night is one of the advantages for visibility. You know, no one has the sun glare, no one has the shadows. It's perfect visibility and controlled and calculated for everyone. So it's a level playing field for everyone.
Yeah, Ryan's having an awesome run right now. Both spinning both directions, ended up with the switch hit right here. Switch flat spin.
Great way to finish off. I think Ryan's going to be much happier with that run than his first run. Coming off the crash in the first round, he's got a solid run under his belt now, and I think he'll be happy with the judges' scores.
Well, anything's better than a fall run, so having a score going into that third run will give him the confidence to really push.
And that's the name of the game. I think as much as we said they're all friends up there, they're pushing each other too, because they're all watching what other competitors are doing. They know what tricks are scoring well, so they're going to have to make some of these decisions on the fly and use the kind of energy and excitement from the other competitors to push them to go bigger, go higher, spin more, right? All those ways to just amp it all up.
Ryan's run was awesome, spinning left and right. He had some great tail grabs, big mute grab coming through. I hope the judges reward him for that good run.
As they should, but you know what? We've seen some pretty high scores coming out from some of these younger competitors, so even the experience of Murphy may not pay off to pull ahead from some of the younger competitors. We'll still wait for an official score from him, but head to the start for Hunter Hess. Had an amazing first run, 88.8, 17-year-old from Mount Bachelor, but he's got another run to go to beat that 94 score that our leader has. That's Nico Porteous, right?
Looking at these bios from all these athletes, we have an injury section, and every one of these athletes has something filled out in it, from hurt finger all the way up to broken wrists and concussions. It's a dangerous game, and these guys are going big.
Concussions, obviously a serious part and a point of contention for many sports, and so happy that the sport science is catching up and we're able to analyze this and mitigate some of those difficulties that can happen in sport. I know I suffered from a few serious concussions in my career, and it weighs on you too. It can be quite serious, so glad that a lot of these guys are staying on their feet, and as I say that, goofing around in the bottom for Hunter Hess cost him a ski and probably a little bit off his score too.
Well, yeah, he lost a lot of speed up probably about his fourth hit and decided to have a little bit of fun to end his run off with. He knew that once he lost it, that his 88.8 would hold up for this run, and he'll just come back strong for his third run.
But that's the name of the game, having some fun with it, right? It's as much as it's serious international competition, if you're not enjoying what you're doing and you're not smiling and enjoying a night out on the hill and having some fun skiing, that's the reason you got to do it, right?
That switch 540 right there, that was what slowed him down. He executed the trick nicely, but just didn't quite feel confident in his landing to head into his next trick.
Wasn't quite enough. That's tough to see, so he'll bank off that 88.8 from his first run.
Taylor Wilson from the Canadian team getting ready. He scored a 79.8, a very strong first run. Should give him the confidence to push again.
So this national team athlete, he's 19 years old. We know he's had a lot of success to date. I mean, that's what's put him on the national team, but is that going to be enough to compete with that young New Zealander that we've seen take the lead after round one?
That 14-year-old really put down quite a run to get all these other athletes hopefully chasing some limits and going as big as they can.
That's great to see. Will be a very interesting run to see what Wilson can come up with here in round two.
Dropping in without his ski poles.
Not having poles must help a little bit with grabs. You have the flexibility there, but I think you might sacrifice a bit with balance too, as while you're spinning, that momentum there and that control that ski poles can provide. So it's a bit of a trade-off, I guess.
A lot of skiers are skiing without poles, not just in slopestyle, but in halfpipe and on the groomers. So it's an interesting new evolution to the style of our sport. I know I'm a little bit old school and don't know if I could even do anything without my ski poles out there.
Well, I knew that, in Alpine you didn't have an opportunity unless you crossed the finish line with 3 pieces of equipment. That meaning 2 skis and 2 poles. You could drop one of them if you ended up with some trouble, but it was actually required too, and pretty much mandatory in a timed event where you're pushing out of the start gate. You need that speed, but balance as well.
It's all about style here in the halfpipe, though. So if you're confident with your own style, the judges are going to see that and they're going to like it.
And didn't seem to have any issues with balance or momentum for Wilson there. I think he's going to be happy with a successful run.
79.8, so they're going to stick with his first run.
So solid score from the first round of a 79.8. I think keeps him in the mix, but more to come for the third round from him.
Yeah, now we have Cameron, who scored an 87.2 on his first run. Big score to start him off.
So Cameron Broderick, American obviously, out of Mammoth Mountain. He sitting in third place, kind of with the loose rankings right now after the first round and most of the way down through the second here. So he knows if he wants to be on the top of that podium, he's going to have to step it up that one more notch.
And he opens it up with a huge cork 9.
That is the way to step it up too. Huge tricks like that and staying clean. Look at the speed and the height and the difficulty. He's got the full package here.
720 into a switch flat spin into another down the pipe 9. Finishing off with the big 1080.
On landing switch. That was a tremendous run for Broderick. I think judges should be rewarding him for that. But you know what? Tough to beat such a solid score from the first round.
87.2. You can't complain about a score that puts you on a podium so far. We've had a lot of competitors go down. You can see him not quite getting that grab. Reached for it, and those bright skis are going to grab the eyes of the judges.
And let's see if the judges caught that one, because something as simple as a missed grab like that is going to affect your score at the end of the day. You need to be pretty much flawless to end up winning a competition like this. You can see the signature yellow bases from the Fishers. They're obviously sticking out, but neon popular with a lot of the ski companies and the fashion too, so you want to be like a peacock showing off for the judges, right?
Yeah, anything that'll catch an eye. So those are some bright skis from Fisher.
And that's
one of his sponsors as well, actually.
The name of the game. So 87.2 from his first round will still be his top score. So not quite enough, but we go to our current leader, New Zealander, 14-year-old Nico Porteous. 94.0 in his first run. Just a phenomenal score, but well-deserved with a run like he performed there.
Yeah, he had some of the best grabs and some of the best amplitude from everybody, so that's why he's in first place, and we get to watch another run from him.
I have no doubts that he's going to be building off that top score. He knows he still has the lead, so he could even just extend that lead a little bit more, dropping in switch.
Our only competitor to drop in switch right now. That's really setting him apart, and huge amplitude from switch hits. Big flare tail grab coming down.
Back to back. That's exactly what the judges want to see. And look at the height, too, from this young competitor.
Lost a little bit on that last landing, kind of took some speed away. I think his first score is going to hold up, but definitely some great tricks from this 14-year-old Nico.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as clean as his first run, but you know what? He doesn't seem too worried about it. He's smiling. He knows he has that 94 in the bag, and he can just have fun with a run like that. But you know what? He still has that one more opportunity to even improve upon that. So.
Yeah, that 94 is a big one for everybody else to catch up on, and the way he's skiing, he can still improve on it.
Great to see, obviously throwing in the grab on that huge flare.
Yes, 94 will stick his first run still.
Sticking with his 94.0 from the first run. We will be back with round 3 right after this, but our current leader, Nicole Porteous.
Canadream has a wide selection of RVs that are available for purchase. New and used Class B and B Plus van conversions, Class C motorhomes, and truck campers that are ready to accommodate many lifestyles. Visit our website for more information at canadream.com/sales.
I'm not special. Cancer happens to people all the time. I take 1 mile at a time, 26 miles a day. I want to set an example that'll never be forgotten. Sometimes, it feels endless. But the pain I feel is nothing. I've seen little kids in so much pain. Somewhere, the hurting must stop.
Terry Fox ran more than halfway across Canada to raise money for cancer research. Every year, millions of people around the world continue the marathon of hope in his name.
YCOM Solutions, a proud supporter of the Chasing Limits series and Alberta amateur sports. Visit ycom.ca for details on their full list of communication products and services.
For Sir George Etienne Cartier, the work of uniting Canada was as vast as the country itself. First, he won over Quebec.
Union is the only way forward.
No, Monsieur Cartier. Confederation will cost French Canadians their nationality.
Monsieur, together we will form a political nationality, independent of our origins.
Diversity will be Canada's strength.
Then he fought for Manitoba.
The Northwest has formed a government under Louis Riel. We will not join Confederation unless our rights are respected.
So you want a new province? Then you'll have it. There will be a place for your people in Canada.
He envisioned a country from Atlantic to Pacific.
British Columbia won't even think of joining Canada without a wagon road through the Rockies.
Ask for a railway. We are building a country, after all.
Bold as a lion, Confederation could not have happened but for him. Du Canada, son pays, ses amours.
Welcome back to Canada Olympic Park. The Freestyle NORAM halfpipe skiing competition is well underway. We have our first 2 rounds completed and our 3rd and final run on deck. Let's take a look at our leaders.
So our New Zealand skier, Nico, 14 years old, still at the top of that leaderboard with a great 94.0.
So amazing to see from that young athlete leading the scores right now. But you know what? We still have 1 run to go. We still got some of those hometown heroes in the mix.
Braden Tritter up. So he had a fall last round and 47.2 in his first round. So he's looking to really finally show off his top to bottom run.
I think he'll be wanting to step it up, but he's got the pressure on him now with 1 run to go and last opportunity for success here.
You can see those great volunteers and the camaraderie up top. Everybody cheering him on, and here he comes. Dropping into that first hit. Down the pipe flare. A little bit of a tail grab in there. Comes back-to-back flares now. Down the pipe 9. Little tail heavy.
A little more consistent than his first 2 runs. Obviously staying on his feet, which is the name of the game. May not have the height of some of the other athletes, but bringing the difficulty.
Ooh, and just a little nose heavy as he came into that really steep wall. You need to land right on your feet or the wall's going to take control.
He may not be happy with his evening here tonight with a few crashes and the score that will reflect that too. So Braden Tritter will likely use his 47.2 from his first round, and no stranger to the fans, though. Everyone still loves him, even though he may not have had the night he wanted.
He put down some great tricks. It's just that really big straight air that he was trying to do air to fakie. Just took him down. His fans are all there cheering him on, the local hometown boy.
Great to see that type of community involvement here at WinSport.
Back at the top, we got Sam McCowan. I'm sure the same crowd will be at the bottom cheering for him again.
This is his home hill, a 17-year-old from Calgary here. He knows this halfpipe. He's trained here, he's competed here, and he's going to be looking for some success and work his way back up with, again, 2 unsuccessful runs and some mistakes that have cost him. But you know what? He's got last chance right now.
That's the joy of getting 3 runs. You just got to let your nerves not get the best of you. Down the pipe, 540. To the massive. Oh.
Absolutely huge air from him. You can just see the height. When you factor in a 22-foot high half pipe and being that far out of the lip, that's just, he's probably 30, 40 feet in the air almost.
Yeah, he really got up there. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite control that landing. Now he's just hamming it up for his friends at the bottom.
So he took the risk, obviously, to get the height that he was looking for, but took too much risk, and I don't think we'll have the score he wanted for the end of his evening tonight.
His teammate, you could see him there, giving him a high five at the bottom, picking up his skis.
It's a long season, though. I'm sure there's lots more to come for McCowan. He's got the skills, he's got the talent. He just needs to dial it all in and put it all together on competition night.
You also got to remember, these guys skied two full runs yesterday to compete to get into this position, as well as they trained for over an hour already, and then they have to come out and do their hardest 3 runs of their day.
But he's got a long winter to go and a long career for Sam McCowan, that 17-year-old.
All right, another Calgary local, Evan Marino, skiing out of WinSport. He's got his sponsors on his helmet there, Mountain Cultures, Fisher, Swix. He's dropping in, getting ready.
Great to see his first round score, 78.8. Still his strongest score, but you know what? He's got one last chance to improve upon that.
And he's dropping in. Big 540 tail, kind of gets a little tangled up on there into his flare that we've seen all 3 runs. Down the pipe 9.
Huge spin, 900 there. That was amazing.
Into back-to-back 9s. Unfortunately, just can't quite hold on.
Couldn't quite stick the landing on that last one, so that will cost him, but rides in fakie to the bottom of the pipe. So likely we'll be using that 78.8 as his top score for Evan Marino.
The Calgary locals cheering him on, getting his high fives, celebrating with all his friends.
And again, only 17 years old, so he's got a long winter and a long career ahead of him as well.
You can see that that's his natural side for his 9, and then he comes around with a little bit of a struggle on this side. And that just comes with training. He'll just keep pushing it and keep trying to get those 9s on both walls.
That's awesome to see, to have that versatility in his book of tricks already.
Back at the top, another Calgary local skiing out of Windsport. This one is Tom Nelner.
Tom Nelner had a crash in his first run, but a 63 in his second round. So he's still got some room to improve, but you know what? He's capable.
Putting down a solid run after a crash should give him the confidence to keep going into this run and hopefully get themselves into the 70s, 80s, and 90s for a score. 540 up top. Into another 540, spinning the other direction down the pipe. 900 down the pipe. Big tail grab. Goes into his 720 with a tail grab as well. His switch hits, he loses a little bit of speed coming through that transition.
You know what? That was a solid run for him. You know, I think he's definitely going to be happy after putting that last one together there. And you know what? He's having fun. He's out for a day of skiing, and he's got his friends and family to support him too. So great to see. Even though it might not be enough to knock off some of those people off the top of the leaderboard, I think he's going to be happy this evening.
You know what? That was a big tail grab in there. Those are the kind of things judges like to see. He may not have the amplitude, but he definitely had his style on that run.
And great opportunity they have here. They can review this video. They'll be able to watch themselves and get those different angles and views from the cameras and be able to improve on that. They can use this as a training tool even. So not just a great opportunity for us to watch as fans, but you know, they can use this footage as a training opportunity, right?
Yeah, a lot like the football players, baseball players, hockey players, you review your footage. You can see sometimes at the top there's coaches with their video cameras posting up so they can get shots of each athlete's trick, and that's how you pinpoint what you need to work on.
Exactly. That's the name of the game. Constantly evolving, constantly pushing themselves, and a 75.6 for Nelner. That's his best score of the night, and he will be happy with that. That'll move him up a few ranks on the leaderboard. So great evening for the Calgary local.
Large improvement. Now to the Ontario local skiing out of Calgary, Ryan Malone, who had a fall as well in his last round, a 51.4 in his first round, but he's hoping to improve on that as well.
And he's got one last chance to bring out the big tricks and put together a clean run top to bottom as he drops in.
Dropping in on skier's right wall. Big flat spin up top. Into very nice D-spin 900. You can see that he had to do a little bit of a speed check come through that transition, and if your skis aren't set, ready for that next wall, that's what happens.
Landed low out of that 720, so that will cost him. I don't think he's going to get the scores he was looking for tonight, but you know, he can build off this experience. He knows the mistakes he made, and he's going to be able to take this experience and bring it into next weekend. So likely the 51.4 from his first run will be Malone's best score of the night, and still keeps him in the top 12 on the leaderboard here.
And you got to be happy with that big opening trick, though. That's a very large flat spin. Getting high fives again. The locals are treating their competitors very well right now. As
they should. Even the international athletes are getting that Western hospitality we provide in Calgary here. We had Japanese skier Yu Yanea, 70.2 in his first round, so he's got a couple more runs down the pipe. He's got some experience now. He fell in his second run, but he's got one last shot to see if he can bring it.
And the volunteer has told him the judges are ready, which means he's going to drop in. You can see that they drop in a little lower from the start gate. They just don't need that much speed when it's this icy conditions. When it's warm out, you need to drop in with a lot more speed.
And they're going to be calculated. They know how fast they need to be going, and they know the speed that's going to be providing them the best opportunity to be pulling amazing tricks like that one right there.
Yanea landing a little high right on that blue line. They highlight the top of the pipe, so when you're upside down, you can see where you need to be coming back down.
It's another evolution of the sport. You can see the blue dye there. There's no need for it as far as judging or where the athlete has to be. It's strictly for visibility, so they can see exactly that edge and that transition.
With the blue line, it helps you because some of these cloudy days, your sky is gray, your ground is gray, and that blue is what's going to help you get to your feet.
So not just halfpipe, we've seen that's evolved into all winter sports. We see it in snowboarding, we see it in racing, and it's just providing that extra level of safety. But you know what? When they have the confidence that they know what they're going to be pushing off of, they can bring out the bigger tricks and won't let that flat light bother them.
So Unea waiting on his score.
All right, Unea's third and final run.
70.2 will stand his first run.
Still a solid competition for the Japanese favorite here.
Back at the top, we got Mitchell Wilson, who had an 84.2 in his first run and some of the biggest grabs we'd seen all night.
He's definitely ready to bring it. He knows that first run he's got in the bag. 84.2 is an awesome score, but again, we want to. No one wants to settle for what they have. They want to keep bringing the bigger, better tricks out and pushing it, cleaning up their runs, because no one's here to not compete at their best, and standing on the top of the podium at the end of the day is what it's all about.
Yeah, getting that encouragement and last-minute words from his coach. Focuses and drops in. Skier's left wall. Opens up with a big flare tail grab into massive flat 5 mute grab.
Wilson definitely has the height to back up his degree of difficulty on these tricks. He's just going huge as he landed that last 900 a little low in the transition, so I think that'll cost him his last hit and a bit of his score. But you know what? He had those huge tricks off those first few hits, and I think that will be rewarded by the judges. But likely the 84.2 from his first round is what he's gonna bank on when it comes to the final scores.
That opening flare tail grab. So a flare is a backflip with a 180, because if he were to just do the straight backflip, he would end up back in this pipe switch. All of these skiers to land forward have to do a 540, a 180, or a 900. A little different than on the slope style, where if you do a 360, you come in forward and land forward.
But judges want to see it all. We want to see the full gamut of skill where they can land backwards, they can take off backwards. 87.8 final score for Mitchell.
So he improves on his first run.
Great to see. You know what? That'll kick him up a couple notches on that leaderboard as we go to our next athlete, Ryan Murphy, who's struggled a bit with some crashes this evening, but you know what? He's got one last chance. See if he can bring it.
The American skier getting hyped up and ready.
Murphy skis out a big boulder. I think he's going to be using his experience from the last few runs to see if he can perform on this Calgary halfpipe.
Coming in with some big air on that second hit. 540 mute grab into a massive 900 tail grab.
Really see the height that he's bringing. He has the speed and the strength to get that far into the air, but gives you that much more time to pull those big grabs and big spins and flips as he lands that last flare.
Again, a little high on the pipe there, catching one ski on that blue line, but he had his back-to-back 9s, which seems to be the staple in this competition right now.
And I think that will be the best score for Murphy as he finally had a clean run, barring that one little mistake at the end there. I think he's going to be pleased with what the judges are going to offer him, and let's see if it keeps him in the mix for the leaderboard.
We can see a nice replay of his flat spin here. Flat spin 720. He ends up switch for his final hit.
But still has a chance to sneak in that grab there, and I think this is where he just landed a little high. You can see that ski on the top of the half pipe there really slowed him down.
Yeah, he had to fight to stay on his feet at the end there. Judges are deliberating on his score right now. with an 81.6.
Great to see.
He'll be
Ryan
happy
Murphy.
with that. Back at the top, Hunter Hess, another American.
He fell in his second run, but you know what? Has that strong 88.8 from his first run, so he's banking on that. Has a perfect opportunity to step it up now, though. He knows he's floating right around second place right now, but he doesn't want to settle for that.
Yeah, you never want to settle for second. If you have that gold in your sights, you're going to push all the way. Big opening tail grab in his 540. To down the pipe 900.
Absolutely huge. Look at the height that Hess is getting outside of the half
1080
pipe.
early in his run. Very nice. Coming in big flat spin 900. Wow.
Lands cleanly.
Great finish.
That was a solid run for Hunter Hess. I think he's going to be rewarded from the judges there after a solid clean run like that. Although he still has that 88 from the first round, might just be enough to step him up that one more notch that he needs. We'll see what the judges come up with.
Big switch 540 in the middle of his run to set up the switch down the pipe 720 into the ending alley-oop 900.
Great grab, lots of style, and just nails those landings. He always has really good timing and lands in those transitions smoothly and is able to really keep that momentum going.
Waiting on his score, checking out the pipe.
It's got to be the most nerve-wracking part of the game. When you know everything's all on the table now, nothing more he can do, but he's just sitting there to see what the judges are going to come up with because he knows everything is in their hands now.
It's up to that panel of 5. His fate in 5 AFP-trained judges.
But that's the name of the game. That's the sport. He knows what he's getting into, and he knows what he has to wait, and he is rewarded for a clean run, 91.4, putting him currently into second place, and he knows that 94 is still on the board, so he knows second is the best he can do. But you know what? Awesome skiing. Awesome run.
Yeah, he improved upon his first run, and that's really all you can ask for. You always want to just continually improve those runs. See how much further you can get up that pipe, how much bigger your tricks can get, and how much stronger those grabs can be.
Canadian ski team member Taylor Wilson has the 79.8 in his back pocket, but he knows he needs to step it up one notch too if he wants to make his country proud and represent Canada the way he wants to tonight.
Starts with a big down the pipe 9 with a Japan grab into a flare tail grab. Down the pipe flare again. 720.
Looks like he lost the momentum, just didn't quite land it, didn't get that chance for that last hit, and I think the judges are going to notice.
Yeah, at this time in the game, you want to have all of your hits lined up.
Taylor Wilson, though, 19 years old. He's still got a lot of competition ahead of him, and we'll just use tonight as a building experience. But, 79.8 to bank on. It'll still keep him in the mix, but I don't think that'll be enough to have him on the top of the podium or on the podium at all tonight. So building for next week now.
Yeah, those are some big grabs. He's really pushing, and I think 79.8 will hold.
But he's got the full package. We've seen him able to do everything he wants to. He's got the height, he's got the style, he's got the skills. It's just a matter about putting it all together on competition night, right?
Cameron Broderick at the top now. Team US halfpipe rookie team. So should be able to give us a good show on his final run, lay everything on the line. Hopefully he's hoping he'll come out of here with a medal.
87.2 from his first round, solid score, good enough to be in the top few, but he wants to step it up, right?
Comes
and you know what?
out
Look
with
at
a
that.
1260. That's the biggest spin we've seen today.
Absolutely huge. So 3.5 rotations.
He is flying down this pipe right now. Big 900 tail grab. Big mute grab. Oh.
That was the worst thing that could have happened to him after having such a solid run. He was really pushing himself. He had stepped up the game for his last run and just couldn't keep it clean through the bottom section and lost a ski.
He had that one last hit, and that's what always gets you.
That's really too
always
bad.
Your last hit.
Really too bad. I think he was feeling it too. He was in the zone. He was getting those big tricks going, getting those big hits, and that's part of the game, though. He'll learn from that. It was just a simple mistake, and that's the end of his night.
What a fun run to watch, though. He got the crowd excited with that opening 1260, and look at how big that mute grab was. He almost pulled his ski right off.
On a 1260, I mean, that's Olympic caliber. We're seeing those tricks from some of the best in the world, so it shows he's got those skills, and he'll be bringing it more next week, right?
Last up is Nico. He gets to do a winner's lap. He has that 94, so let's see if he tries to improve on it or just takes it easy and uses it as a training run.
He knows he already has the win in the bag with that solid 94 from his first run, so this is just a victory lap for Nico. But you know what? Why not take advantage of this perfect condition pipe and see what he's capable of? Why not put some salt in the wound that he's put on everyone else and improve that lead by even more?
Yeah, I don't know any 14-year-old that's not going to keep pushing and having fun, so I think we're going to see a good run out of him.
I think that's just amazing to see. This competitor's 14 years old, out of New Zealand, and our leader at COP. I mean, amazing to see the talent from such a young athlete.
And just having fun. You can see it in how he interacts with the volunteers, his coaches. He's just up there smiling, having fun.
He is. He's a kid out enjoying a day of skiing, and you know what? That's what it's all about. It just so happens that for Nico, a day of skiing involves triple rotations and double flips and absolutely massive air.
Unfortunately, couldn't put down that first trick, but now he gets to have fun on his way down. With a couple of switch hits, just playing around.
And that's exactly what he should be doing. Just enjoy it, because he knows he's going down to the bottom of that half pipe and right into the winner's circle.
The whole round of switch just keeps on going. Switch, safety grabs all the way down.
I don't think anyone ever told him he's allowed to ski forward. This kid's definitely grown up, skiing every which way, and it's paying off. Wow, amazing talent.
Gives the sponsors one last shout out.
Nico Porteous, our leader, the 14-year-old out of New Zealand. Definitely taking it to some of the North American athletes here, but we've seen tremendous talent from our hometown heroes. Some of the Americans have really stepped up, but you know what? Our leader on the top of the box today, Nico Porteous.
Great runs all day long from Nico, and he's celebrating.
I would have no doubt we see a bright future ahead of him, so everyone remember that name, because there are some Olympic events coming up in the next couple years, and that's a name I'm sure we're gonna be seeing lots of in the next little bit.
What a view from the top of that pipe. City of Calgary, all the sparkling lights, and then the great lights on our pipe.
To have a facility just like this right in downtown Calgary just shows how fortunate we are to have an amazing snow sports community that's putting on world-class events just like this one.
And you can see why so many great athletes come out of Calgary. We have the ability to train here and become some of the best in the world.
We have the resources, we have the facilities, and as we've seen tonight, we certainly have the talent.
And we have the support of the Hill and the local Alberta freestyle community, who is able to rally volunteers to put on an event like this.
Well, that concludes the Freestyle NORAM halfpipe skiing competition. We can see our leaders there. Canadian Mitchell Wilson in third place, but wasn't quite enough to top our leader, Nico Porteous from New Zealand. That concludes the men's halfpipe competition from WinSports COP. For Kevin Kwasny, I'm Paul Stutz. Thanks for watching. This is Chasing Limits on Shaw TV, a glimpse into Alberta winter action sports and a look into athletes and personalities that continue to chase their limits. Yeah.